for the class. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's get started. Good
Okay.
evening,
Let's go.
Professor. And um, people are still joining. Okay.
Okay.
Good evening, Professor.
Let's wait. Yeah.
Uh,
No, sorry. Continue. Yeah.
Good evening, Professor and classmates. We, as group number 6, have prepared some explanations regarding to how to implement a writing task to assess our students' abilities in the classroom. Specific in writing, of course. As you will see, we have based our explanations on the example 6. So next slide. Okay. Uh, Before jumping into that, we need to contextualize the situation. And so, what is the importance of writing in the ESL class? As you know, writing develop thinking skills um, to make logical and persuasive arguments. In other words, sorry, people are still joining. It's kind of
No, that's okay.
distracting. Okay. Um, okay. In other words, writing help our students to express their ideas in a better way. It also conveys a number of benefits like building on what they already know, adding new vocabulary and strengthening the learning process. Having said that, it is really important for us as teachers to strengthen this ability, and even more than the others, because knowing how to write boosts the rest of skills. Next slide, please. Now, before proposing the activity in the classroom, we need to organize the needed elements to set the activity on good trails. As you can see in the chart, we have 6 main elements. The first one is test takers, which corresponds to our students. Um, the second one, age group. In this case, we have teenagers. The third one, level of language ability. This is intermediate. And for language, English. 5, language use activity. In this case, writing a descriptive paragraph. And the last one, intended uses, which we have formative feedback and summative decisions. Okay, next slide. Okay, let's propose the setting for for the activity. And we know we will propose a writing activity for intermediate students. Okay. This activity pretends to reach some objectives. The first one is to make sure that those who pass the level will be prepared. And the second, to help students to improve their performance in writing. Therefore, once the teachers get the results, they will make formative decisions, giving feedback to the students. Also, it must be remembered that the assessment is based on a unit of instructions. In other words, it is based on the content checked in class. And the task is part of the general assessment process, and the activity consists on writing a descriptive paragraph. The next slide, please. After that, we have to analyze the feasibility of implementing the activity by taking a look to the possible outcomes of it. As you can see, we have two main elements. The first one, the intended consequences, which are the possible outcomes of the implementations of the activity. The second one, the intended stakeholders, which are the benefited people from each one of the consequences. Up next, my partner will go deeper in the explanation. So
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, good evening, professor, classmates. Or now regarding the task development, we have step 3 and step 4. So now, first of all, the modified task assessment task template. What is this? This is the planification we prepare before the assessment, on the day of the assessment, during the class after the assessment, and the administrative procedures. You know, we as teachers need to prepare this kind of outline in order to organize the activities that we will present in the class. As you know, these kind of activities, writing activities, are very complex and complicated to evaluate and to establish first. So it is always good to prepare an outline in this case. So first, as you know, we need to inform our students that they will have a writing task for example, next class or next week. We do this in order to make them prepare themselves and be sure that they will organize their time. Maybe they will practice or study, so they get as prepared for the activity as possible. Then on the day of the assessment, we as teacher need to explain what we need them to do, why we make them do, what we make them write this essay or paragraph, and how we are going to assess it. Yeah, if we give clear instructions, chances are that our students will get a better performance and therefore a better result. Then, the day after the assessment, we as teachers, we need to grade, to correct mistakes, and to prepare, a general inform about what our students got right and what they got wrong, in terms of grammar, vocabulary, structure, if they understood well the instructions. So we need to inform them. Yeah. Yes. And finally, something extra is the administrative procedures. So this is just to make sure that as we administer this task to the whole class as a group and make them work individually, because assessing writing is something that you should do individually in order to know what they lack or what they are good in. So then we have the model assessment task. These are other words to refer to the rubric. Whenever we are assessing something, whereas it is speaking, listening, writing, etc., we need to make sure that our students understand which parameters are going to be evaluated. So in this case, we have 4 parameters: task achievement, grammar, vocabulary, and mechanics in general. Okay, so here I'm not going to read all this because you already know, but it's just to make sure you understand that we just use these kind of rubrics, especially when we are speaking about performance, productive skills. Productive skills need this kind of rubric, so to make sure our students understand. Okay, Thank you. Werner is going to go further in the explanation.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Hugo. Thank you very much.
Okay, in this case, we have the intended decisions, which are summative and formative, as we know. And who will make these decisions are the teacher and the students at the end of the school term, during the next lesson, before the next unit instruction, after they receive the teacher's feedback. And the stakeholders will be the students, teachers, parents, and guardians. The next, please. So first we have the summative decision, which aims at assuring that the students will benefit from instruction at the appropriate level. So in this case, the summative decision is decide which students pass to the next grade, and which scores from this assessment will count as part of students' total grade for the term. In this case, the teacher is who is going to take this summative decision, and the stakeholders are the students, teachers, future teachers, school administrators, the school parents, and guardians. The next, please. In the case of the formative decisions, which aim at improving instruction and learning, we have provide the students with feedback on their written performance, make appropriate changes to teaching, continue with planned teaching. These three are made by the teacher. The first one during the next lesson, and the second one before the next unit instruction. The third one before the next unit instruction. And the last one, review or practice learning on which students need to improve, as we know is made by the students after they receive the teacher's feedback.
Yeah.
And in the assessment records, the scores from the writing assessment in this case are consistent across different times and days of administration. And in this case, the possible sources of inconsistency in scores are three. In the first one, we have inconsistencies in the administration of the assessment. In this case, we have different days of administration, and also we have different administrations to different groups of students.
Yeah.
In the second one, we have different assessment tasks. So we have different types of musical instruments. In this case, students will write about different types of instruments, for example, strings, brass, woodwind, and percussion instruments. And also we have different amounts of detail for musical instrument chosen. So in this case, the student will write about the different details, such as accuracy, precision, or the sensibility of the instrument that they have chosen. In the last one, then we have inconsistencies in how students' performance are scored. For example, different application of the writing scale from one student to another. The
Yes.
for the possible backing for the inconsistencies, for the first one, we have the documentation of administrative procedures to be followed. In this case, we have the teacher's notes from administering the assessment at different times during administration the class period. For the second one, possible backing, we have task specification for the musical instruments to be used in the assessment. And also we have teachers' notes on any difference that we observe in how different musical instruments may have affected students' performance. In the case of the first one, for the documentation, the teacher will say the students about what kind of instruments they are going to write. In the case of the third one, For the third one, inconsistency, we have the documentation, the rating scale, recording form, and instruction for scoring. In this case, we have the teacher's notes on how the rating scale may have been applied different from one student to another.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. And now
Hello.
I'm going to talk about the TLU. Okay, the TLU domain consists of the language use situation that the test task will most likely know in the real world context for the purpose of teaching English, or activities require language to achieve a communicative goals called the task of language use task. In this case, it has a different steps. The first, no TLU task will engage the areas of ability we want to access. The second, some TL's task may not be participant to administer in the assessment in the entirety. The third, some may be not be appropriate to for of the test task if they propose is about the knowledge and experience on the task many not possess. The next, please. And now in this case, we have an activity. In this, we can create our plan. The first step is activity what have the teachers. The teachers in this case have a topic is the musical instruments. Instruments, sorry. In this case, the object we can use about the writing, and the students need to know about the grammar and vocabulary and the correct machines. And the next step is the second step. We have, for example, in this case, the teacher have the different tool. In this case, the teachers first explain about how to the students how to prepare the writing activities, because these activities we can realize in the class. This activity is described paragraph. But the previously class, the teacher gives an list of these instruments. And the students have to research about this and collect the all information. The next, please. Okay, in this case, we have the areas of the language ability, the TLU. As we know, in this case, we have the topic is musical instrument, and we use the writing and the grammar, vocabulary, and the correct machines. In the set, we have a different of in this group, we have different tools have the teachers. In this case, we have materials, participants, and the time. The materials, in this case, we can use a paper, pencil, and the pictures about the musical instruments. And the participants, in this case, we can work in groups. And the times, maybe in this case, we can use 40 minutes is a period required. Required, sorry, required. But in sometimes we have less time or more time. And now we have input. In this case, we have the teacher have a description how we can use how the students can do this activity, because they have to describe in a paragraph. The students, as we know, they are going to work in a group. They have to read the paragraph, and we now in this case is in English. And we can use a short activity and the visual long several pictures and the example of this kind of the paragraph on the textbook. And expect response. In this case, the students write the described paragraph about the musical instrument, and as the language is in English, in this case, we can have to require the grammar and vocabulary. It's so important in this activity. The paragraph we need to have, it has 100 words, the minimum. And as we know, the topic is musical instrument. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, as you can see here, we have our bibliography and
Thank you.
yeah, so just to clarify something,
Yes.
well, you know, in these kinds of TLU tasks, we are assessing one specific aspect of our students' learning. So in this case, writing. We have basically our activity, the activity that we are going to propose in our class is to make our students write one paragraph. That's it. Yeah.
Yes.
All this presentation, all this previous preparation is something that is not usually taken in consideration by our students and by us sometimes. But it is, I think it is part of this, you know, the teaching process, you know, the success of this kind of task come from the preparation and how you explain the task and how you end up performing. So yeah, I think that's it. If you have any question, you can ask, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, good. No? The clarification is also a good one, no? Because yeah, at this level and the level that this class is directed to is that students can write a paragraph, no? A paragraph. Yeah, and you're right, no, in saying that the success of our students' assessment is that you make it very clear, no, what the assess is about, when it will be handed, when what the students have to do. No, I mean, you're not going to tell them the questions, but they should know what it is about, no? And the more they understand this, the more they know they are exposed, no, to some samples of the questions or samples of activities that you usually present to the students, the better they will be, and the more ready they will be for their performance, and the better their performance will be. You know, so I don't think it's about telling students. I mean, it's about motivating students, no? Presenting to them what aspects of the language ability you expect them to develop, make it very clear, tell them in advance is crucial, not telling them what they are going to be assessed on. And so, yeah, and of course we can expect better results. No, remember that assessment is not well. Some teachers in the past, especially, they used to have this to eliminate the students. No, so the more difficult the quiz, the better for them, because they got rid of students. But we know that and especially in English, the ultimate objective is to keep our students engaging, no, in the process. So going back to the feedback, you know, if students fail one type of assessment, you know, then you do a good you give a good feedback, you propose a similar test the next time, and so that the students gain confidence. No, so it's not about failing students. No, it's about giving them opportunities for improvement. No, for improvement. So that is what is called assessment as part of the process. No. And it should be seen as such, no, as part of the process. As assessment should be seen also as part of the instruction, no, as part of your teaching. So as there are different views, and that's what we're going to be seeing in the next class, no, that assessment is not only used for the purpose of assessment, it's used for reinforcing, for feedback, as part of the process that never stops. No, one assessment only goes back to the previous material, connects to the material that will be presented next. And then it's a continuum. No? Great, so very good, group 6 with your presentation. And now, I don't know how much time we have, or maybe we should close this session and prepare a new session for the last group, no, for group 7. So Hugo, how much time do we have?
We have more than 10 minutes, but I don't know how much exactly we have.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Okay. So what we're going to give, in order to have a complete presentation, let's close this session.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask group 7 to have everything ready. Hopefully they can do it in 25 minutes. So maybe we can have a little free time at the end, no? Because it's been an exhausting night, no?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let's see. So let's close this session, dear Abby.
Okay, perfect.
And in the next one, group 7 should be ready, no, for their presentation.
Okay.